This episode is brought to you by Best Buy. Whether you're searching for exciting gifts or trying to snag the hottest holiday deals, Best Buy is here to help. From air fryers for the aspiring foodies in your life to smartwatches your fitness friends will love, Best Buy is your gifting destination for everyone on your list. And Best Buy makes it easy to give your gifts how and when you need them, with free next-day delivery on thousands of items, as well as same-day delivery and in-store pickup options. Shop great deals on gifts now at Best Buy.
Welcome to Mom and Dad Are Fighting, Slate's parenting podcast for Monday, December 19th, the Screentime Struggles edition. I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom of three littles, Henry who's 10, Oliver who's 8, and Teddy who's 6. We live in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
I'm Jamilah Lemieux, a writer, contributor to Slate's Care and Feeding parenting column, and mom to Naima, who's 9.5, and we live in Los Angeles.
I'm Zach Rosen. I host the Best Advice Show podcast, and I live in Detroit with my family. My oldest Noah is 5, and my youngest Ami is 2.
Today, as we head into winter break, we wanted to answer a question about helping kids manage their screen time. But first, we have a very full mailbag and wanted to share all the fun feedback we've been getting. First, Jamilah, you're off the hook on this one, but Zach, you and I are getting a talking to from a restaurant server for saying it was okay to let kids run around at certain restaurants.
I love you all dearly, but have none of you ever waited tables? Running in spaces where servers are carrying full trays? Absolutely not. The staff will really dislike your table, and they will not notice or care if your kid is cute. Please don't be those people. Signed, Anonymous, on behalf of every server, ever.
This is totally legit. I used to be a server myself. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right.
I felt appropriately like hand slapped. Like, oh, you are right. This isn't unsafe.
It's unsafe. In my defense, the restaurant that we were in literally was like ballroom huge, and there weren't many people in it. I think I would have thought differently if it was like a crowded little bistro. But still, I like a talking to from our listener. So thank you.
Next, we have a letter in response to our Supporting Gender Expression episode.
I love your podcast and the suggestions you gave to the listener. One thing you didn't address enough is the child's statement that boys are better than girls. I hope that as their parent has many conversations going forward with their child about sexism and potentially reframing the phrase to being a boy is better fit for me than being a girl, or I find things traditionally attributed to boys more exciting than those attributed to girls. I would also suggest reading about accomplished men, women, and non-binary individuals, scientists, athletes, artists, etc., who express their genders in a variety of ways so that their child can see examples of people of all genders achieving great things. Hopefully, they can both talk about things they admire and find things that they like and might want to emulate. I know the website A Mighty Girl has some great resources about women who express their gender in a variety of ways, but I don't have suggestions for a specific website for other genders. As a woman in STEM, I don't experience gender dysphoria, but have had to work through my own feelings of boys are better than girls well into adulthood, because that messaging is still way too prevalent, unfortunately. Even well-meaning discussions about sexism can leave the people in the room feeling that being a boy is superior to being a girl. So it's really important to address that idea on its own. Thanks. A woman who loves math and hates high heels.
It's another good point here.
Very good points.
Thanks for keeping us, all of you out there, keeping us to the letter and the things that we sometimes miss. We appreciate it. Next, we have a special audio delivery with some great advice for dealing with shrieking kids.
Hi, I'm calling in response to the shrieking child question, and I loved all of your suggestions and wanted to just add a couple of more. The first is a book called The Explosive Child, which really helps parents learn the cues before things turn into a meltdown. So that's really helpful. The second thing, it does sound like maybe the child is dealing with some kind of overload, sensory or otherwise, and perhaps a weighted blanket or a toolkit that they could use in transition times, things like fidgets, stress balls, putty, might help those transitions. And then third is actually a recommendation for the parent who struggles with auditory overload. You can find earplugs on Amazon that are meant for concerts that block out excess noise, but you can still hear voices. So it's really nice because people can talk to you, you can still respond to them, but it brings everything down a notch and it makes it much more bearable, especially when kids are being loud, which is, always. So love the show. Thanks.
Well, thanks so much. I feel like with Shrieking Kids, the more things you have to try, the better. Mm-hmm. Our last letter here has some ideas for kids who are learning to participate in household chores.
Hi, Mom and Dad. I would like to add to the suggestions for the Wrangling Preschool Tornadoes letter. First, invest in kid-sized cleaning tools, like a small dustpan and broom. Second, it may be helpful to assess whether items in the kitchen/playroom/bedroom are easy for the kids to access. For example, we recently put up some new hooks at kid height so that our 5-year-old can easily hang up her jacket and bag when we come home from school. And sometimes the almost 2-year-old can too. We also put all of their plates, cups, etc. in a low cabinet so they can get their own dishes for meals. As a bonus, maybe you could try a fun new kid fork to inspire using it at meals. All of these things made the kids excited to be able to do the household tasks on their own and introduced responsibilities. Also, Elizabeth, I had your voice in my head when I exchanged numbers with 2 new mom friends recently. I texted them my name and my kid's name and immediately put their info in my phone. Thank you for the good tips. Love the show. Thanks.
First of all, way to make a new mom friend. I love this. And I totally forgot about the tiny cleaning toys. Did you? I got those for the boys, hoping they would help. But what ended up happening is they would switch me for the larger. I mean, it doesn't matter. They were still cleaning, right? Mm-hmm. But I spent many times like sweeping with the tiny broom and dustpan.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, though. Kid-sized cleaning tools.
Well, thank you all for sending in your thoughts. We absolutely love hearing from you. If you want to let us know what you think or send in a question, you can email us, or our favorite, send us a voice memo to momanddad@slate.com. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll jump into our listener question.
Reboot your credit card with Apple Card. Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. It gives you unlimited cash back every day on every purchase, up to 3%. And you can use that cash right away. No waiting for rewards. Just daily cash you can use right away on anything. Apply now in the Wallet app on iPhone and start using it right away. Subject to credit approval. Daily cash is available via an Apple Cash card or as a statement credit. See Apple Card customer agreement for terms and conditions. Apple Cash Card is issued by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC.
KiwiCo delivers super cool science, technology, and art projects for kids. They have 9 different subscription lines for different ages and categories, so there's truly something for every kid. KiwiCo has holiday-themed boxes. Last year, we built this candle spinner thing where you light the candles underneath, and it has sort of a pinwheel on top, and the heat from the candle rises and spins the pinwheel, and on the little wheel is a snowman and a Christmas tree. It was a really fun project to build with the kids. It served as a holiday decoration, and we're looking forward to getting it out again. We learned a bunch about science and heat rising, all while doing this fun project together. KiwiCo boxes make wonderful gifts, and of course, the subscription line will deliver a box to your door every month. You don't have to go shopping for all of the different things to do an arts and crafts project. Everything you need arrives right in your box, and you can choose from so many different things depending on what your kids are into. Give awesome this holiday season with KiwiCo. Get your first month free on any crate line at kiwico.com/momanddad. That's your first month free at kiwico.com/momanddad. We're back and ready for our listener question. Take it away, Shasha.
Dear Mom and Dad, we need help with screen time. Our 8-year-old is an only child and will sit and watch TV for literal hours if we don't stop him. I've realized that the limits I had as a kid no longer exist. I'd turn off the TV if there was nothing good. I could put on a VHS, but that was a limited resource. But now, between Netflix and Disney Plus, there's always something that he'll watch. I don't want to cut him off entirely from screens. For better or worse, it's part of our culture, and I don't want it to become sort of forbidden fruit. He's enrolled in sports and other activities, and he regularly plays with a group of friends in the neighborhood. But when he's home, He ignores his many books and games and art supplies and toys and reflexively turns on the TV. Maybe there's no easy answer short of hiding the remote. But how do you teach kids to self-regulate in the era of binge watching? Help.
Okay. I am 38 and I can barely self-regulate. So
Yep.
I don't think that an 8-year-old should be expected to self-regulate with these evil algorithms, and you have to regulate for them. I agree that you shouldn't cut TV off entirely from them, but you just have to make it a finite source of entertainment. What we do is every night at 7, after we get ready for bed and before we do our reading, the kids get to watch TV for a little while. And on the weekends, they get a little bit more. And when they're sick, they get a lot more. And when we're on trips, they get even more. So it's not like, we are completely rigid, but we are saying there's only a limited amount of time you have access to this, because if no one's telling me to like go and do something else, I could sit and watch Netflix all day easily. And I'm 38. You're the regulator.
You just have to do it for them, because I can't self-regulate and I struggle with this because I don't want to hand it down to my child, and like she sees how connected I am to my device. Television is just an easy thing to just let her do while I'm cooking, if I have something going on in the house, as opposed to forcing her into playing with toys. But you have to, you just have to. And this is something I've not done as much. I'm committing to do more of it in the new year, and I want you all to hold me accountable. But that you have to force that other time on them. They're not going to self-regulate. You're going to have to say, right now you're doing this, and they can scream, they can cry, they can get upset if they want to, but if given the choice between anything and TV, they are probably going to pick TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like here's the bad news: you've lost control, and you need to establish a system that works in your house that limits the amount of TV time. And there are so many great options out there. There are apps to help you do it. There are apps that manage it and hand out TV time. You can use a checklist of things that have to be done before we turn on the TV, and just really trying to get ourselves engaged in other things. And honestly, most days we kind of run the clock out, and unless the plan was to watch something as a family, or, I need to use it as a babysitter, or I just need some time, which all of those are okay. And we can get so absorbed in other things that it doesn't even come up. But I am thinking back about the interview about teens and phone usage that we had on the show, and how much these teens were saying, I wish my parents had set me up better for this, for understanding the struggle, and for already setting up a system where I don't just get on my phone all the time. And so I understand that. And I was just thinking that this is really the first opportunity you have. If you think of this as, I have this chance right now at a younger age to deal with screens when I have so much more control, that when they do have the option of having a screen in their pocket all the time, I've laid some of this foundation. And some of that is, your child is old enough to have a conversation where you say, this is why that much screen time is bad for you, right? Not only is it a time suck, all of this, but this is why it's enjoyable. It lights up these pleasure centers, and that's great. And there are definitely times when we all need that. But there are other ways to get that as well. And if you think about it as once you sit down to watch TV, it is very hard to get up and do something else. So if you can try to do the other things first, or set a hard timer, the timer goes off and it doesn't matter where you are in the show, it's over. Start instilling and enforcing some of those things. I think then you can count on them to start self-regulating with your help. But it doesn't really sound like right now there's been anything other than, hey, don't you want to go do something else? It's well, no, I don't want to go do something else. This is amazing. And I'm going to get more, feedback from the next episode. I want to know what has happened. We have gotten a lot of traction from audiobooks just because they feed the same sense, and the kids can be working on a puzzle or playing and getting that same kind of ability to zone out and go into another world, but they're kind of not zombified in the same way because they're doing something with their hands. And the kids really like that. And I do find they're oh, I don't want to put the audiobook down. And there's just something about that makes you feel better. They're doing some other activity. at the same time. But a lot of times when they want to watch something, that is what I offer instead. I also think when we're talking about little kids, a lot of times I've invited parents to sit down and start playing with their kids. And I think this is another place where you can really do that, even though they're older. There is just something about if you're going to do a project and you're sitting at the table doing the puzzle or you get out a board game, I find that parent attention or that idea that you're going to do this with them can overcome that. Even if later you need to walk away to do a job or because you have something, you just have household jobs to do, saying like, well, I have time right now to do this. Come sit with me and let's just do this for 10 minutes. And, when the 10 minutes are up, we can go do something else. A lot of times they choose to stay.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. Just make the other option irresistible. Make it more compelling than TV, which it is when you're all doing something fun together.
Thanks for writing in. We hope some of our advice helped. We would love to hear how your break went and if you made any changes. If you have a question for us, of course, listener, email us at momanddad@slate.com.
Support for this podcast comes from Wise, the universal account made for moving money around the world. 170 countries, 50 currencies, one account. Who exactly is Wise made for? It's made for Austrians uprooting to Australia, Swedes safarying in South Africa. It's made for business in Tokyo and pleasure in Miami. With Wise, you can send, spend, or receive money internationally all in one account. It's a convenient way to move your money across borders. You'll get the mid-market exchange rate with no markups and fees that are always low and transparent. Wise Business is the only business account you need to go global. It has everything you need to grow and operate your multi-currency business without the hefty admin and headache of a local bank. Join 13 million people and businesses who are already saving. Learn more about how the Wise account could work for you at wise.com/slate.
Reboot your credit card with Apple Card. Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. It gives you unlimited cash back every day on every purchase, up to 3%. And you can use that cash right away. No waiting for rewards. Just daily cash you can use right away on anything. Apply now in the Wallet app on iPhone and start using it right away. Subject to credit approval. Daily cash is available via an Apple Cash card or as a statement credit. See Apple Card customer agreement for terms and conditions. Apple Cash card is issued by Green Dot Bank, member FDIC.
This episode is brought to you by Best Buy. This year, let Best Buy be your holiday hype partner. Whether you're searching for exciting gifts, trying to snag the hottest holiday deals, or looking for ways to simplify the giving and receiving experience, Best Buy is here to help. Best Buy makes it easy to get your gifts how and when you need them with free next-day delivery on thousands of items, as well as same-day delivery and in-store pickup options. Make Best Buy your go-to gifting destination this holiday season for products that help you enjoy what really matters, like quality time with the family. We have been watching kids' movies together. Now both of my kids are old enough to sit through a whole movie, and we have a TV that sometimes works. So I think it actually might be time to invest in a proper TV so we can watch stuff together in bed, get real cozy before bedtime. It's been like so nice to sit with my family and appreciate culture with them. It's been so nice just to have the four of us together watching movies. It's like my favorite thing to do. No matter what your plans are this season, Best Buy is the perfect destination for all your holiday needs. Shop great deals on gifts now at Best Buy.
It's finally time for recommendations. This is the part of the show where we shout things out that we love. Zach, what do you have for us today?
Well, speaking of screen time, we just watched one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid this weekend, Homeward Bound. Did you see Homeward Bound?
Mm-hmm.
I think when I was a kid.
Yeah,
maybe.
I hadn't watched it since I was a kid. If I'm not mistaken, this was the first movie that I cried at. It's such a sweet movie. If you haven't seen it, it stars two dogs and a cat on this heroic journey through the Sierra Mountains to find their family, who they think abandoned them, but was actually just on a trip. And this is like pre-CGI, so it's actual dogs and cat like talking. Sally Field plays the cat, and Don Amici and Michael J. Fox play the dogs. But like you don't see their mouths moving, so it's just like frankly like primitive in the tech, but I think it still works very well. My whole family watched it in 2 sittings. It's like 70 minutes, like, you know, which is like how short kids movies should be. But it's so good and pulls at your heartstrings. And if you have an animal, if you're like me, you will like go down and just like lay with them for like an hour and cry in their arms after you watch this movie. It's a really good one. And apparently there's a sequel, Homeward Bound, Lost in San Francisco, which I'm sure is half as good. But we're going to watch that sometime soon, too. It's a classic, Homeward Bound.
I love it. Jamilah, how about you?
Well, you know, I'm good for recommending something that's like already a pop culture phenomenon, so you didn't need me to tell you about it. But I am recommending Wednesday on Netflix. I loved it. Naima loved it. It was so good. I only wish that we hadn't watched the 6 episodes as quickly as we did, because this is the rare occasion where I actually want to watch it again. I just really enjoyed this show.
This is the Addams Family thing?
This is a teenage, maybe 14-year-old Wednesday Addams. Maybe 14, 15. She just looks so small and so young compared to her classmates, but she's in high school and she's at this boarding school called Nevermore where her parents met and fell in love, and there's a murderer on the loose and Wednesday is trying to solve the crime. So it's not good for super little kids, but Naima was into it and wasn't creeped out too much at all. I was a little worried. There's not a lot of graphic stuff, but there are a few, you know, icky moments, but you guys, it's so good. And I just love the Addams Family growing up. It's very different than the Addams that you knew, but it is so much the Addams that you know at the same time.
And it's directed, at least some of the episodes are directed by Tim Burton, who did the Christina Ricci Addams Family from the 90s, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Sounds like some good prestige mystery programming. I'm excited for this one.
Great. All right, well, I am recommending something that is currently unbelievably keeping my car clean. We have tried like everything for all the stuff to keep the kids entertained while we're driving or when we're going somewhere. And this is actually a friend messaged me and said, this is working really well for me. And so I went out and bought these, the MÅLA portable drawing case from Ikea. And I got 3 of them, as was her suggestion. They have a nice little handle and I have a little thing they can hang from, like a little hook that goes to the back of the car seat so they can hang them up. But I also can just gather them up and throw them in my trunk. But what makes these so great is they unzip, so it's like one of those pillow drawing things that sit on your lap, and there's a case on the top, and there's a built-in little clip board thing, but you unzip it and it's got a ton of pockets, and it can hold a notebook, a coloring book, an activity book, all their different pens. So I let them stock it up for anything that would fit in there for what they wanted in the car. And it's been great because it's super easy to tidy up. Like, it's easy when we park the car to say, like, zip everything back in. Everything stays pretty neat in there. I can throw them in the trunk when I have adults in the car. It's just been really great. It's been working for a few months, which is like kind of incredible. And just the kids have everything they want. They can bring them inside and restock them. Definitely littler kids would have a hard time, doing the zipper and putting stuff away, but it's not that hard either if someone jumps out of the car for school or whatever, right, and I need to clean it up. It just takes a few minutes and has really limited the mess in the car, which is just so nice because that is one of the things that just, when we're on a road trip, like I will go out at night and try to get the car all clean again just to have a fresh start. So the MÅLA portable drawing case from Ikea, I'm sure there are other ones out there, but these ones are cheap and pretty great.
I love this. It's $15. It's like the size of like a laptop case. It looks
it's like a laptop,
really
like a little lap desk.
Clean.
Yeah,
it's very cute.
And you can, the kids, when they've drawn on it with marker, it like kind of wipes clean. But I'm also sort of like, who cares? Because it's their desk. It's great.
This is
give it a try. Hopefully, it works.
Great holiday gift.
Yeah, like a fun, especially if you have like a road trip or something coming up, or you're going to drive to grandma's. I don't know. I just feel like we're in the car so much in the winter going to things, and I just need them to have something to do that's not talk to me. That's it for our show. We're back on Thursday with our holiday party episode featuring all of our littles and a visit from hosts of Mad F Past. You won't want to miss it, so be sure to tune in or subscribe so that you never miss a show. This episode of Mom and Dad Are Fighting is produced by Kristie, Taiwo-Makanjuola, and Rosemary Belson. For Jamilah Lemieux and Zach Rosen, I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. Thanks for listening.